Now it's time for Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf, the #1 relationship advice radio show in the U.S. Brought to you by MembrasinLife.com, the #1 vaginal moisture supplement.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask Dr. Love. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf. It's my pleasure to be with you again today. We're having a quick chat in the first segment with Wendy Coombs. She is the face of Membrasin Life Sciences. She's been with their team for the past 4 years. They are my sponsor. And that Wendy herself had a firsthand experience with vaginal dryness and discovered the benefits of SBA24, which is the active ingredient in Membrasin Vitality Pearls. And her own positive experience fueled her passion for educating women of all ages that they don't have to endure the pain and limitations that feminine dryness can impose. And Membrasin Life Sciences is determined to help end the stigma surrounding vaginal dryness and get women talking more openly about this very real issue. So without further ado, welcome back, Wendy.
Thank you, Jamie. It is wonderful to be here. And we are so thrilled to have been associated with your show and really the opportunity to just get, the word out, so to speak, that vaginal dryness or feminine dryness is not a disease. It's not something that we have to just live with. We can have our cake and eat it too, so to speak. Because really, whether dryness is caused by the most common menopause, aging, that type of thing, or a hysterectomy at a young age, or medications, all these things. We are vibrant women who deserve the opportunity to lead the fullest of lives. And that's really our mission, is to just help women feel like themselves at any age.
I am so behind what you're doing and what you're about. You know that I went to bat for Membrasin. I got into a big problem with my New York City station. The general manager there, a woman, told me I'm not allowed to say the word vagina on air. And how can I stay on this station? My sponsor is a vaginal reversing vaginal dryness and atrophy company. So I left the New York station. Then I ran into trouble with my my podcast network, which I was in hundreds and hundreds of countries through them. And they started giving me heat about, what I was doing, and you can't run these ads. And I left them too. So, this has been a real mission for me in supporting you. And, sometimes you have to take a lot of heat when you're fighting.
Isn't that unfortunate? We're women, and this is such a natural thing. It's about a healthy life at any age. And,
and the thing is, people don't realize 40 million US women alone suffer from atrophy and dryness. And, men, they just trade their wives, their girlfriends in for younger models. And you wonder why.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
There's so much emphasis put on, the sexual aspect and, women and their desirability and all of that. And it is important. You are the queen of relationship advice. And you know how important intimacy can be in a relationship. And we hear from women every single day that they felt guilty. Their spouse or their partner felt guilty. It was just because it hurt so badly.
I know.
It's unfortunate that we have to just deal with that. We're expected to just deal with it.
And men develop sexual dysfunctions as a result because they don't want to hurt their partner. So they start developing erectile dysfunction, not being able to get an erection or premature ejaculation. So I can be an in-out operation, because I don't want to hurt you. It's so sad. And, the flack that I took was you're a relationship show. You shouldn't be talking about sex, but sex is the glue that bonds us to each other. It is.
So many relationships deteriorate when that piece, because it is an important piece of the puzzle. And when that piece gets lost, a lot of people don't have it in them to continue to work at the marriage. And we all know marriage is hard, even in the best circumstances.
That's right.
And, if your partner doesn't feel good, if they're in pain, even outside of intimacy, that's hard. It's hard on our self-confidence. It's hard on that mental health that we hear so much about. And really, Membrasin is about feeling and acting and being your very best, regardless of your age. And we provide an alternative, a natural alternative to some of the things that are out there. And it's good for us.
And this is not a lubricant. That was the other thing.
Oh,
my former podcast network, she said, well, this is a vaginal lubricant. It isn't.
No, this is working at more of a cellular level from the inside. So it's a supplement. This is a supplement that
you put it in this hole, in the mouth hole.
Exactly. And we do offer a cream, but the cream is for the woman's comfort. This is to help improve condition of skin and whatnot. It is not a lubricant. In fact, we suggest that you use it either before or after, not during. This is for women so that they feel good and that.
Wait a minute. I want to be clear on what you just said. We suggest you use it before and after. The before and after your cream.
Right. So the cream tip, ideally, the Vitality Pearls are taken in the morning every day, and consistency is really important because it's working through the bloodstream and you want to provide that nourishment to those mucous membranes. The cream is a topical solution. So we really provide a very unique inside outside approach to feminine dryness. The cream is applied topically for any external dryness in the intimate area, and the pearls are taken internally. So the cream, if applied at night before bed, it has time to really absorb undisturbed, uninterrupted. So if you are having intimacy with your spouse, wait until you're done. Wait until you're done, or, and do it that next night or afterwards. The cream can be used as often as needed, and helping with the itching and some of that external irritation. We have customers that came to us because they were so dry, they couldn't ride their horse, or they couldn't ride their bike, exercise, even gardening.
Wearing pants.
Yep. You think you've heard it all, and then another woman calls in desperation because she has tried everything, and we have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. And every now and again, we provide a full refund because it just didn't work for her. And that's just how much we believe in this product. And as you mentioned, this has been available in Europe for over 25 years. So they understand that importance of, feminine health. And it's more than just, taking, I don't know. Well, there's a lot of things that you don't want to take that can provide that.
You mean like if you don't want to take estrogen, right?
Yeah, exactly. Some women can't. Some women don't want to. And yet we recognize that some women have to. And it's fine. This is a choice. And your health, you should have a choice when it comes to your health. And the benefits of feeling good and, not only physically, but mentally, that definitely will benefit a relationship.
Yeah. I talk a lot about transdermal magnesium. I don't distribute it. I'm not an affiliate. I don't make commissions, but I recommend Electra magnesium because magnesium is a precursor to the formation of all of our hormones.
Right.
And I think it would be wonderful for people to do an experiment combining your product with Electra magnesium so that they're actually making all the neurotransmitters and all the hormones and all the things that we need to have the vaginal tissue be in good shape.
Right.
That'd be a fantastic thing.
There's a lot to be said for supplementation. But again, lifestyle. We talk, like I said, we talk about menopause and we talk about, the different stages of that and how that can affect intimacy and feminine dryness. But medications, stress, lifestyle, sometimes it might just be temporary, for someone that maybe is on birth control. Birth control affects our hormones, which in some people can cause dryness. And you're going, wait a second, I am taking birth control so I can have sex and not get pregnant.
Right, exactly.
And yet I have no desire because it hurts so bad. And
it hurts me so bad to have to say goodbye to you now.
I know. It has been just an absolute pleasure to be a part of what you're doing. And as you said, we believe in helping women. That is our mission. That 40 million number, our goal is just to see that decrease because we don't want women to have to feel like this.
That's right. So you keep me posted on how you're doing.
Absolutely.
And, stay moist.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? And stay healthy. That is important. And, I would just say, don't be afraid to ask questions about this product and about the situation. So many women are afraid to talk about it. They're embarrassed.
Yes. And we're breaking down those barriers.
We are.
All righty.
And I appreciate that, Jamie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk to you again.
Bye.
Bye. Let's take a brief break.
Hi, it's Dr. Jamie Turndorf here. Are you feeling stressed out or suffering panic attacks, aches and pains or stiff muscles, low energy, angry outbursts or disturbed sleep? Or are you worried or depressed or feeling hopeless, like the world is coming to an end? Or you're not eating right or exercising or falling into self-damaging or addictive behaviors like binging on junk food, TV, or the internet? Or abusing drugs or alcohol, figuring what's the point? Or maybe work is getting on your last nerve, or your relationships are falling apart. If you said yes to any of my questions, you are likely suffering what I call the new global PTSD pandemic stress syndrome triggered by the coronavirus pandemic. Don't despair. My energetic system upgrade is your rescue remedy for the panic epidemic that is plaguing our world. The energetic system upgrade has already changed the lives of some of today's top leaders. Now you can experience your own energetic system upgrade healing transformation. I'm offering a limited number of discounted sessions for my radio listeners. Visit AskDrLove.com/energetic system upgrade. Don't wait. Visit AskDrLove.com/energetic system upgrade. Attention, ladies. Dryness is canceled. Are you tired of dealing with painful sex due to vaginal dryness? Are you ready to get back on your bike or hit the tennis court with your girlfriends without having to worry about the discomfort caused by dryness? Whether it's menopause related, medication related, or something you've just dealt with for so long that you've accepted it as a fact of life, Membrasin Life Sciences may be your long-awaited answer. A nutritional supplement taken daily that is completely estrogen-free and clinically studied, Membrasin Vitality Pearls have helped over 500,000 women worldwide take their lives back. Just check out the 3,000-plus customer reviews on Amazon. Visit membrasinlife.com to learn more and use code LOVE for 15% off your first month. Give it 90 days and say goodbye to vaginal dryness.
Are you a business looking to expand across the USA? Taxing Times offers a unique opportunity to reach out to almost every adult listening group, as everyone is concerned about their taxes. Every small business is looking everywhere for quality services that your company can provide. There is no national tax or accounting show presented anywhere else in the USA. By advertising on taxing times, your company can reach an audience that no other show touches. Call Mark Klika with Klika Tax Resolution now at 844-400-TAXS to get in on this tremendous opportunity. Will it be your company to take advantage and grow your business? Call Mark right now at 844-400-TAX to get all the details. That's 844-400-TAXS. Call now, 844-400-TAXS.
Welcome back to Ask Dr. Love. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf, and this is the time in the show where I'm going to answer all the questions that came in to AskDrLove.com. So many people can't come into the studio live, but if you are free to come in live, I always invite you to come in if you want to talk to me about my answer to your question or give me more information. Now, if you can't be with me live in the studio, then you will be able to watch or listen to my answer by going to the show page for this week, the May 26th show on AskDrLove.com. And that recording will be posted a couple of days after this live broadcast. All right, so here's the first question. There is a girl I've been seeing for about 5 months now, and she has been doing some things which bother me a lot. Examples are, she still receives her ex. I once went to visit her, and when introducing me to her landlady, she said I was her friend. She also told her work colleague that I was her cousin. We had a quarrel this week because I went to her office and asked her to come down and charge my phone for me. She blue ticked me. I got so pissed off, I lashed out. Recently, she said they went for a business presentation in another city, but she didn't come and sleep home. All this is hurting me, and I don't know whether to move on and leave her or not. Please help. Okay, so it sounds like this girl doesn't tell the truth. So first she introduced you as her friend, then as her cousin. So did you ask her why she introduced you as her friend and her cousin? I really would wonder what she would say. At the very least, it sounds to me like she doesn't want others to know you are her partner. And why? Is she hanging on to you until someone better comes along? Well, whatever her reasons are, you aren't being treated properly. And why would you want to be with someone who distresses you so greatly? The fact that you would even consider staying with her tells me that you are no stranger to abuse. Humans tend to gravitate to what is familiar. And I suspect that you were not treated in a loving way in your first family, which would set you up to choose a girlfriend who treats you disrespectfully. Before dating anyone else, I want you to get some therapy. And I want you to focus on who mistreated you in your deformative years. And that is not a joke. Our early life deforms us. So who mistreated you, and identify how you felt and how you feel about it. The bottom line is people who are mistreated have damaged self-esteem, and low self-esteem leads you to choose people who treat you like garbage, which mirrors how you feel about yourself. But the sad reality is that each time a girlfriend mistreats you and you allow it, it lowers your self-esteem even more. And so it's a downward spiral. You keep drawing worse and worse people to you as you feel worse and worse about yourself. They mistreat you, you feel worse about yourself. So the point is, I want you to get help. Don't date until you are more healed. You know, I'm going to tell you, this is a story that comes to mind. Many decades ago, I had a woman come to me because she had tried to kill herself and she was hospitalized. And when she came out of the hospital, she came to see me and I asked her what happened. And she said that she was so in despair over the poor partners that she chose over and over again. She never thought that she would have a hope of finding anybody better, and she just wanted to die. So the pattern that she was exhibiting in her relationships was she kept picking men who dumped her for someone else. So I made her promise, no dating, nothing until we get to the bottom of her injury and heal it. So as we dug, I discovered that when she was a very young baby, still on her mommy's lap, her mother literally threw her off her lap for a new baby that was born. So you see, we repeat the trauma we suffered in our deformative years. She kept picking men who threw her over for someone else. So we worked through the injury. She went through a dark night of the soul. She grieved the loss of her mommy's lap too soon. But the bottom line is, after we went through this process and she healed, she went on to attract a man who was devoted to her, who has been devoted to her now for decades. She went on to marry. So we heal our wounds and then we choose better people. Okay. You deserve more, so much more. Follow my advice and you will have more, so much more. All righty. So I want to take a break. And during the break, I need to have a quick chat with my wonderful engineer, Bob, if it's possible. Perhaps we can chat through the chat window. All right, everybody, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a moment.
Hi, it's Dr. Jamie Turndorf. Did you know only one stress, one accident, or one illness can trigger PTSD? And did you know that all the stress associated with the pandemic has created what I call the new global PTSD pandemic stress syndrome? And don't be so quick to say, I don't have PTSD, because many conditions like depression, anxiety, pain syndrome, sleep disorders, and sexual dysfunctions are PTSD in disguise. And don't be fooled. Even after the pandemic is behind us, your PTSD will not go away by itself. Hope is in sight. In my latest book, If You Think You Don't Have PTSD, Think Again, I share a simple, research-backed, drug-free program for reversing the new global PTSD pandemic stress syndrome, a solution your doctor doesn't likely know about. Read If You Think You Don't Have PTSD, Think Again today and be on the road to recovery right away.
If You Think You Don't Have PTSD, Think Again became a #1 international bestseller within 24 hours of its publication. Grab your copy on Amazon and find out why.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, dryness is canceled. Have the events in your bedroom become less than eventful? Is libido a thing of your past? Enter Membrasin Vitality Pearls, the #1 selling vaginal moisture supplement. Let's hear what some real customers are saying. Finally, so happy to feel relief from the dryness I was experiencing. 58 years young and so happy to be intimate with my husband again, says Gail. And from Mr. S. I imagine you don't get many reviews from men, but after searching for something, anything that would help with my wife's dryness, we found Membrasin. It's been about 4 months now, and what a difference it has made, not only for her comfort, but also for her libido. We've been enjoying each other almost daily. Don't let dryness and painful sex limit your relationship. Give Membrasin Vitality Pearls a try for 90 days. Visit membrasinlife.com for more information and use code LOVE for 15% off your first month.
Welcome back to Ask Dr. Love. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf. I'm answering the questions you submitted to my website, askdrlove.com. I just got a chat message from, I'm just going to say, Kenneth. Kenneth, you asked if I answered your question already. I saw you were in the studio before I answered the first question. So I haven't answered any other questions but the one you heard. If you want to shoot me a chat, and let me know which your question is. That would be good. So I'll know that you're here and then I can invite you to talk with me if you have any further questions you want to ask me about my answer. All right, the next question I'm going to answer is from Dee Dee. Now this is very cool. She's only in the 10th grade, so I like hearing from people of all ages. So I have this guy a year above me. I'm currently in the 10th grade and he looks really good. When I first saw him, I immediately fell for him, but I somehow forgot about him. And I just lived my life until February when I realized he eats at the canteen like me. For 2 weeks, we made quick eye contact like every second day, but I believe most of them weren't on purpose. Sometimes we met outside of the canteen too. Then we always made eye contact, but maybe it was just because I was staring in staring, and you wrote LMAO, laughing my ass off. He really is so pretty. I don't know much about him, just the basics, because we follow each other on social media. I only talked to him twice. Both of those times was 1.5 years ago. It wasn't anything serious. Then in April, I found out he has a girlfriend for 2 years now. So I'm still interested in him, but I don't want to make a move and be the ugly person who messes up someone's relationship, or SMTH. That means, I guess, something or something. But I kind of enjoy this. Nothing. It makes me excited. I look forward to seeing him, but deep down, I always think of moving on, because obviously it hurts that I don't have any chance. I thought about trying to get close to him as a friend, but maybe it would be something that would just hurt us both. So honestly, I don't know what to do. And that's the thing. Thank you if you answered. Also, sorry for any mistakes. English is not my first language. You didn't do too badly on the English department. I made some corrections as I was reading your question. Okay. And despite the language barrier, I did get the gist of what you're saying. And I get you don't want to mess up his relationship, which is very, very nice of you. Now, at the very least, you could strike up a conversation. You could let him know that you're very drawn to him, but you just discovered that he isn't single. And you could say that if for whatever reason his relationship doesn't go forward, you would like him to reach out to you because you feel that strongly about him. Now, that kind of communication is so high integrity. It's an honest communication that he will not forget when he becomes free. And there's a good chance he will become free, because he's young too, and he's still in the experimentation phase. All right, next question. I don't even have long sleeves on, so I can't roll up my sleeves to get to work, but we got a lot of questions here. This one is, hi, I have recently met someone online who lives over 12 hours away by car. We have exchanged pics and we talk on the phone daily, as she calls me most nights. We have plans to meet in the summer. We flirt on the phone and through text, but I am unsure about her response to sexual texts. She seems to enjoy what I say, but also doesn't really reciprocate beyond saying, "That's hot," and sending emojis. I'm wondering if I'm wasting my time and she just sees me as a friend. Thanks. Okay. Well, first of all, you haven't met her in person. So she may hesitate to get sexual with you, especially if she really likes you and she wants a relationship. She may be afraid that you will not respect her if she engages in casual sex texts or even actual sexting with her. And she may also want to hold back sexually until she knows whether a real relationship is coming her way, no pun intended. So rather than wonder, I would ask her how she feels. And by the way, friends don't tend to engage in sexual phone flirting and sexting and sexual texts, by the way. So it's obvious she really likes you and she really cares for you. And the thing is, so many relationship confusions can be resolved by simply speaking your thoughts and feelings and why you have them. So in this case, you would say exactly what you said to me. We seem to enjoy our texts and phone calls most nights. And I noticed we flirt sexually on the phone and in texts. But I also noticed that you don't seem to want to get too heavy on the sexting. And I want to know more about what you're thinking. And you can ask her the questions that I just said. And you might even ask her if she's waiting to get hot and heavy until we meet in person and decide whether we want to take the relationship to the next level. You get the idea. All your questions will be answered by speaking directly with her. Relationships are not about having a crystal ball or asking a third party, what do you think she's thinking? Ask the person you're involved with directly. It's clear to me she likes you, or she wouldn't be wasting her time speaking with you on the phone most nights. So I think that you're in. All right. I have time for another question. Now listen, Kenneth, I still don't know which your question is. So text me back. Let me know what your question is. Give me the title or something so I make sure that I speak more directly to you when I get to your question. All right. This one is called How Can I Help Her and Win Her Heart? I forgot to give you the subject headings for the other questions. I've got to do better with that. So hello, everyone. I would like to ask you a question. 10 years ago, I met a girl in an online game. She is 19, I am 21. I played it every day and met her here often. We started writing more and more often. After that, we exchanged Facebook, email, Skype, etc. Since then, we have been in contact with each other every day, writing, calling, etc., even several hours a day. She lives 250 kilometers from me. After I did my driver's license and learned to drive a little better, I invited her to a meeting and came to see her, and we got away for the first time. It didn't take long, and I invited her on a date. This was successful, and we also had our first kiss. Then we kept writing, and I really fell in love with her. I think of her every day, but there was one problem. I know she has a mental health problem. Unfortunately, in recent months, she has stopped communicating both with me and her surroundings. She doesn't want me to go after her. When I write it, it will come back in a week, not only to me, but also to my friends. I'm really scared for her. I love her so much. I love her and I'd like to help her. And I would also like to win her heart. I want to be a really good support for her. P.S. I would also like to add that my health is not the best, and I also deal with mental health problems. Okay. I get that you really care for this girl, woman, and I get that you also want to help her. I get that. Now, there's an old saying I quote sometimes. It's a psychiatric saying. How many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? Answer, 1. But the light bulbs really got to want to change. My point is, other people can't really do much to help us grow and change. We have to help ourselves. She needs to be motivated to get the right help for herself. You can't do that for her. At the same time, as you said, you have mental health issues yourself. You need to be on strong footing yourself. Otherwise, having her lean on you could make you lose your own footing. Now, I want to also just say as an aside, there's a lot of published scientific research that I cite in my latest book, If You Think You Don't Have PTSD, Think Again, proving that many psychiatric issues from depression to anxiety to bipolar disorder are linked to low magnesium. So I suggest that both of you begin using the electromagnesium, and you can get it at electromagnesium.com.au. And as I said earlier in the show, I don't sell or distribute the product. I don't receive commissions. I just recommend Electro because it's the purest and most potent form of transdermal, that is via skin, magnesium on the market. It goes right into your bloodstream and bypasses your digestion for immediate absorption. And I have seen wonderful results with all kinds of emotional problems, and I recommend it to my patients. So the best way to help her is to make that recommendation to her, and you start using it yourself, and let me know how you both are doing. All righty? We'll be back in a moment.
Attention, ladies. Dryness is canceled. Are you tired of dealing with painful sex due to vaginal dryness? Are you ready to get back on your bike or hit the tennis court with your girlfriends without having to worry about the discomfort caused by dryness? Whether it's menopause related, medication related, or something you've just dealt with for so long that you've accepted it as a fact of life, Membrasin Life Sciences may be your long-awaited answer. A nutritional supplement taken daily that is completely estrogen-free and clinically studied, Membrasin Vitality Pearls have helped over 500,000 women worldwide take their lives back. Just check out the 3,000 plus customer reviews on Amazon. Visit membrasinlife.com to learn more and use code LOVE for 15% off your first month. Give it 90 days and say goodbye to vaginal dryness.
You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you yearn to get along better with your life partner or spouse, friends, family members, and even co-workers, Dr. Turndorf's best-selling Hay House book, Kiss Your Fights Goodbye, Dr. Love's 10 simple steps to cooling conflict and rekindling your relationship, shows you how to turn conflict into connection for a lifetime of lasting love. To find out more, visit AskDrLove.com. Once again, here's Dr. Turndorf.
Welcome back to Ask Dr. Love. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf. I'm having a lot of fun answering your questions. I love hearing from you. It feels like my family extends farther and wider whenever I check out your questions and connect to you around your issues. So the next one that I'm going to answer is, should I tell my partner about my fantasy? Hi, I'm a male in my younger 30s and have been in a relationship for about 1 year to my girlfriend who's in her 20s. Everything is going extremely well and we love each other very much. Here's where I need some advice. This is hard to admit, but I have a fantasy about sharing watching my girlfriend with another guy. I try to ignore the fantasy as much as I can, but it always comes back. She's a beautiful person inside and out, and we have a great relationship. Should I try to kick this fantasy or come clean with her about it and get it off my shoulders? I look forward to your thoughts. Okay, so the only two options that you came up with is to try to kick the fantasy or come clean with her about it. Now, there is another option, and that is accept the fantasy, but don't tell her. Now, there is no rule that says we should verbalize every thought, feeling, or fantasy that we have to our partner. In fact, on Psychology Today, I wrote a column, Why Honesty Isn't Always the Best Policy. You might want to check that out. A relationship is not a confession booth. And besides, humans are filled with all kinds of thoughts, feelings, and fantasies, many of which are downright nuts. Our brains are crazy. And a healthy person allows all thoughts, feelings, and fantasies to exist without trying to get rid of them. That's an exercise in futility. Think about telling yourself, don't think about a pink elephant. Well, that's all you can think about. When you try to stop a thought, the brain fights back with a vengeance. The idea isn't to put reins on thoughts, feelings, or fantasies. The idea is to put reins on our behavior. As a species, we humans need to develop greater impulse control, to train ourselves to not act on every thought, feeling, or urge. That means if we're angry, for example, we don't haul off and belt somebody or verbally lacerate somebody. Instead, we want to filter the raw urges through our intellect and decide whether to act or not, or speak or not. Now, the goal is to reach the point in which you can allow any feeling, fantasy, or thought, so long as you know that you need not and should not act on most of your thoughts, feelings, and fantasies. So, for example, let's say you're furious with your boss and you have the fantasy of bashing his brains in. You aren't going to do it, but you can allow yourself to be free to have the thought. Feelings do not equal actions. So when it comes to sharing our thoughts and feelings, there's only one relationship rule of thumb that I want you to follow. You have to ask yourself, will saying what I am thinking or feeling be beneficial to not only myself, but also beneficial to my partner and our relationship? So your option to get it off your shoulders is an option that's all about you, to relieve your internal pressure. So that might feel beneficial to you, but what about her? Will relieving yourself be at her expense or at the expense of the relationship? Do you think she's the kind of person who would welcome that kind of revelation? Is she into kinky sex and threesomes? I doubt it, because if you're doubting whether to tell her, you tell her about your fantasy, you already know that she's likely not going to welcome such an admission. So you said that you love each other, and it sounds like your relationship bond is strong. And acting on that kind of fantasy is really playing with fire. Every couple I've ever worked with who brought a third party into their bedroom stirred up a hornet's nest. All kinds of jealousy and insecurities invariably take over, and the relationship ends up getting eroded. So at this point, it's more important than what you say to her is gaining greater understanding into yourself. Now, this is really important for you to realize. It's good for you to do a little soul searching on why the idea of sharing your girlfriend with another man appeals to you. And I'm just going to put it out here. Sometimes men have these fantasies of bringing another man into the bed as an unconscious way of being able to have sex with another man without admitting to themselves that they're gay or bisexual. And this is something that you really want to explore more in your own mind and privately. Okay? I've given you a lot to think about. Now, Kenneth, have I answered your question so far? Because I put the questions, here to address them all, and I'm not sure if I've gotten to you yet. So Kenneth, give me a little chat if you can, and let me know if I've covered your question yet, or if we still haven't reached it. All right, now let me see. Next is about long distance relationships. So I'm in a long distance relationship for 11 months now, and my boyfriend planned to break up with me because according to him, I am very far from him since we're living in different countries. He said he's very busy and he cannot give me time. And I told him that I understand that since we have our own lives as well. He wants to break up with me because we cannot do things physically. We can't see and touch each other. And he's having a stressful life that's affecting his time for me as well. That leads him into frustration. I told him to keep fighting for our relationship, that it's just a challenge for the both of us, but he's really eager to end our relationship. He's very cold towards me for weeks now, and I'm trying to lighten up the situation when we're texting. He can't even call me babe and doesn't respond to my I love yous. I really don't know what to do. I love him so much. It's just the LDR is very hard, but I want this relationship to be successful. Are there any solutions for this? Please help me. Thank you. So, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a break. And when we come back, I'll answer this question. And then Kenneth, I'll get to yours because I see now what the topic is. All right. I'm going to be back with you in a moment on Ask Dr. Love.
You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If your heart is still hurting over the bodily loss of your loved one, the reason is simple. We're not meant to be separated from those we love, and reconnecting is the only way to end the grief. But reconnecting and staying connected requires guidance. As a gift to her listeners, Dr. Turndorf is offering a limited number of discounted grief relief sessions to help you reestablish your relationship and resolve any unfinished issues. If you're ready to experience the healing and joy of reconnecting, visit AskDrLove.com/grief relief to schedule your session. But don't wait, space is limited. Visit AskDrLove.com/grief relief to find out more.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, dryness is canceled. Have the events in your bedroom become less than eventful? Is libido a thing of your past? Enter Membrasin Vitality Pearls, the #1 selling vaginal moisture supplement. Let's hear what some real customers are saying. Finally, so happy to feel relief from the dryness I was experiencing. 58 years young and so happy to be intimate with my husband again, says Gail. And from Mr. S. I imagine you don't get many reviews from men, but after searching for something, anything that would help with my wife's dryness, we found Membrasin. It's been about 4 months now, and what a difference it has made, not only for her comfort, but also for her libido. We've been enjoying each other almost daily. Don't let dryness and painful sex limit your relationship. Give Membrasin Vitality Pearls a try for 90 days. Visit membrasinlife.com for more information and use code LOVE for 15% off your first month.
You're listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf. If you can't stop crying over the bodily loss of a loved one, Dr. Turndorf's international #1 bestseller, Love Never Dies, How to Reconnect and Make Peace with the Deceased, shows you how to toss out the tissues and transform your grief into joy using her groundbreaking Dialoguing with the Departed technique that enables you to reconnect and even heal unfinished business with those in spirit. To find out more, visit AskDrLove.com. And now, back to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf.
Welcome back to Ask Dr. Love. I'm Dr. Jamie Turndorf. I'm answering your questions. Before we took the break, I shared the long distance relationship question where the woman is saying that the guy tells her he has to break up because they're too far away. They can't do things physically. They can't touch each other. They can't hang out. He doesn't have time to give her. He's in a stressful situation. He is cold toward her, and she wants to know what to do. Okay, so this is a really sad situation for you because it's obvious you really love this guy. And the first thing I was wondering was, have you been in a long distance relationship with him since the start of the relationship? In other words, I'm asking, did he start the relationship with you knowing that there was distance and the distance didn't stop him from forming a relationship? So why is the distance suddenly an issue? Now, his initial explanation that he can't give you time doesn't sound like the real reason, because if you aren't complaining about the time he gives you, then I suspect he's actually talking about himself and complaining that you can't give him enough time or the right kind of time. And regarding the not being able to do things physically, does he mean sexually, or does he mean that you can't be physically in the same space and do activities together, or both? So again, I'm thinking, why did he start with you if being in physical proximity and hanging out together in person is so important to him? And this makes me say, I smell a rat. I'm thinking there's another issue going on here. Like maybe he's scared to commit and go to the next level with you. So instead he comes up with excuses to end the relationship. And there's a way to test my theory that he's just scared to go forward and wants to run. And the way to do this is for you to remove all the obstacles and tell him you'll move to be with him. Now, obviously, you can't play this game of poker if you're not willing to do it. But I suspect that if you said this, he wouldn't accept. And then this would prove that all these stories he's telling you are cover stories to cover up his real issue, that he's scared to take this relationship to the next level. Remember, he started a relationship with someone who lives long distance, and the built-in distance is a perfect excuse for him to not get too close. So if you're willing to test my theory, tell him you'll move and watch what he says and does. And if I'm wrong and he accepts, then you have your boyfriend and the relationship. But if I'm right, and I hope I am not right, he won't accept your offer to move to him. And then we know he is not relationship ready. I hope for your sake I'm wrong, and please let me know what happens. Okay, Kenneth, this is your question. Confused state of mind. There's a girl I've been seeing for about 5 months now, and she has been doing some things which bother me a lot. Oh, Kenneth, I did answer this question. You must have come in late. Oh my heavens. So, all right, Kenneth, I just realized now that I'm reading it. It was read, this question was read in the beginning of the show. So if you didn't hear my answer, rather than my repeating it again, you'll want to watch the recorded show, which we'll post on Ask Dr. Love on the May 26th show page. And you will then be able to hear my answer. Now, Kenneth, if there's anything else you want to say to me, I mean, I'll just give you like a quick rundown of what I said. And then if there's anything you want to say about it or ask me, you'll have a couple of minutes before the show closes. So I said the girl doesn't tell the truth. She introduced you as a friend, then a cousin. Then if you asked her why she's not introducing you as her boyfriend, what would she say? Now, it seems to me she doesn't want others to know you're her partner. And is she just hanging out with you until someone better comes along? And whatever her reasons, you're not being treated properly. And then the real issue here isn't whether you stay with her or whatnot. It's why do you want to stay with someone who treats you so poorly? And I talked about how we tend to choose people who treat us the way we feel about ourselves. So if we were mistreated in our childhood years, we tend to gravitate to what's familiar, and we choose people who don't treat us in a loving way. And that sets us up to choose a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a partner who treats us disrespectfully. So I was asking you earlier in the show to not date her or anyone else until you see clearer into your injury, figure out who disrespected you, and work on healing that injury. Because the problem is you can't afford to date somebody who treats you like crap, because that lowers your self-esteem and then draws worse and worse partners to you. You see what I'm saying? And it's a vicious cycle. The worse you feel, the worse partners you choose, the worse you feel because they treat you badly, and you get into a vicious cycle. Now, Kenneth, if you want to ask me anything about my answer to you, you can be made audible. Your video will not come on. Is there anything you want to ask me? Anything at all? Because this is the confused state of mind. I think I saw you say, yep, this one's called confused state of mind. So this is your question. I did answer it. If there's anything else that you need to know, and if you don't feel comfortable coming on air, sometimes people don't, you can always email me. Okay. What else? We have 3 minutes left. I'm wondering, let's see if I can get one more question in before, okay, you're welcome. Kenneth said, thank you. Good man. Let me know how it goes, because I really, you deserve so much more. Now, this one is, I'm curious on your thoughts about moving in together before marriage. My parents lived together. They did well, and they'd had a successful marriage for 30 plus years. My girlfriend says she wants a ring before she'll move in with me. She thinks if we're cohabitating, there's no point in getting married and we should just be roommates. And she made it seem like she'd give in if push came to shove, but I don't want to push her because I think resentment would grow down the line. I agree with you. You're in a value conflict. She believes that you shouldn't live together unless you're at least engaged. You don't have a problem with it. Neither of you is wrong or right. But I think that she's afraid that if she sets up house with you without a ring, that you'll be living together forever. And she wants security, that you're on the same commitment track that she is on. So you're right. You don't want to pressure her and do what she doesn't feel comfortable doing. So my question for you is, if the relationship continues to be the way it is now, would you want to marry this woman? And if that your answer is yes, then why not get engaged? Give her a ring, move in together. So there are no guarantees in life. People get married and marriages end. Engagements end too. So a ring just conveys your intention to marry her. An engagement ring says to her that you want to marry her and that in your mind, living together is the first step toward marriage. In her mind, if you don't want to give her a ring, you aren't sure you want to marry her. And maybe she's right that you see living together as a trial to see if you are suited and want to consider marriage. If you aren't sure, then there's no point moving in together until you are sure you want to be together. So how strongly do you feel about her in the relationship is the question. Do you see yourself committing to her? And if you do, buy the ring and move in. Worst comes to worst and things fall apart when you're living together, then the ring purchase will have been in vain. But at least the ring will show her that you love her and you have the intention to marry her. I'd like to hear how it goes. All right, that's all for this week. I will see you next week. Who do we have on the show? Ben Bathen. He's a guy who was on a lot of psychiatric medications and everything went really south for him. And we're going to talk about those meds and alternatives. All right, everybody, take good care. See you next time on Ask Dr. Love.
You've been listening to Ask Dr. Love with Dr. Jamie Turndorf, brought to you by MembrasinLife.com, the #1 vaginal moisture supplement. Sign up for Dr. Jamie's newsletter at AskDrLove.com and receive her meditation audio that will guide you to open your heart and chill out during these stressful times.